Live. Hello, everybody. How are we doing?
Hey, Paul, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. Can you turn your mic a little bit or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Am I low?
Yeah, it is a little bit low.
Shall I plug myself in with the headphones, you think?
Oh, it's all right. I'll just turn my laptop up, just making sure everyone can hear.
Okay, cool. Sorry. I didn't think about the headphones.
Oh, no worries. No
I
worries.
usually wear headphones if I've got the crew with me, but there's nobody else here, just me.
Yeah. No. It's good now. It's good now. My laptop must have just been down, like the volume a little bit. So, yeah, everybody, we are back. HairTV, weekly hair chat show, talk show, whatever you want to call it. Just something to engage with all of you guys on a weekly basis so you guys can jump in the comments. So get in the comments, let us know where you're watching from, what you want to hear from us. We've got some really exciting stuff happening towards the end of this year, but big things happening for next year. And you can see who I've got with me, Mr. Ian Davis Emrys. Mate, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking me on. It's been ages since we've done anything live like this together.
Yeah.
Well,
on here.
Lockdown, on StreamYard anyway, and on YouTube and streaming throughout. So this is really, I'm really like chuffed that you've asked.
Mate.
We've been talking about loads of things anyway. So I think that we're becoming the ant and deck of the hairdressing world.
Hopefully. Get their bank account.
Oh, God, can you imagine? Yeah. So how's you? How's you?
My mum is ill. My mum's got a bad chest infection and a broken elbow. So, she's not good.
What did she do to do that?
Fell over, and then she's just got a chest infection, really bad one. She hasn't got a voice.
Anyway, sorry, Suze. I'm glad. I hope you get better soon because she's fab, your mum.
Yeah.
Big night tonight.
Big night tonight. Big night. British Hairdressing Awards.
All the finalists are now being rushed backstage at this time.
Yeah.
So,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock they go backstage, and I think about 6:45 they announce that they're allowed to come out then through and find their tables and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So tonight is the British Hairdresser Awards annual award ceremony. So it's a regional awards. So everybody gets shortlisted by entering 4 images on the first round, 4 extra to make a collection of 8 for the second round. And then you get into you're shortlisted as a finalist. And for British Hairdressing itself, it becomes about being nominated. You can only be nominated for British, not for the regions.
Yeah.
As an old campaigner.
Yeah, I know. And recent again as well, wasn't it? Lockdown,
yeah, 2020, I think, was the last time I was shortlisted in my region. Yeah, but that was kind of a bit of new work and a bit of because it was lockdown, you could use existing portfolio stuff that I did. So I managed to get there. That was my last shortlisting. I've had 4 shortlistings all along, never won. And as Lewis Moore says, Ian Davis Emrys, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were talking about it, weren't we, before we came on, and we were looking through who. Let me see if I could bring it up. I could probably bring it up, and we could talk it through, maybe.
That'd be clever.
All right. Let's start with. Do you want to talk about Beautiful Youthful that we did? So last week I showed them the video that we did, and I'll see if I can bring up.
So the Beautiful Youthful was. I think it was a great concept. I think we both had the same experience in the salons, right, where we'd been working with our clients, and when we wanted to, both Paul and I like to revamp clients, no matter what the age, no matter what they look like or whatever, we want to make them feel and look better, like every hairdresser, I suppose. But in conversations with the clients we had, that in 1 week we had the same conversation basically in different parts of the UK. Paul up being sort of the Midlands, I'm down in the Southwest, and I had an experience with my client where she said that it's kind of nobody sees her anymore when she's of it 40 and 40 plus. What's the point of changing? What's the point of looking at fresh colours? What's the point of changing a haircut? Because she wasn't seen anymore. And you'd had the exact same experience with one of your clients, Paul, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did a colour for Joico online event, and I was quite excited to hear what people around her would sort of think. She was 100% grey, and I coloured it with the 10N from Lumi 10 all the way through, but it was only like a panel, so that's something that we can do. And I said, "Oh, I can't wait for people to sort of say what they think about it." She was like, "Oh, no one will say anything because when you get to a certain age, you're invisible." And it took me back. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, yeah, that's that, and that is an experience a lot of clients have, right? They
Yeah,
kind of think they feel they don't feel seen anymore. They feel that nobody looks at them, and I think that's something that we both were really passionate about and really wanted to change the perception of how people feel, because you only become seen if you feel that you are there to be seen, I think. And
yeah,
it's empowerment, confidence, um, and being authentically yourself. So the beautiful youthful was all about you know, beautiful youthful, but be you and being
yeah,
yourself, being the best version of yourself, and owning it and stepping into that space. I think, which is what we tried to do with it. And actually, we had really phenomenal feedback actually with it. I think it was one of the most successful things we've ever done.
yeah.
Um,
And season two. I mean,
season,
we've
yeah,
done a lot. We did the distribution thing as well over in Helmond, and that was a really big thing that we've been booked for next year already as well.
yeah,
And I can see Beautiful Youthful sort of following on from that. I think
yeah.
season two of it will be even better.
I think they go hand in hand because I think the what we're actually looking for, instead of looking at like a trend, for instance, the trends are really important and keeping up the trends is great. And we both look at the trends regularly. I think we're going to talk about trends later on. Um, but also, it's actually looking what's absolutely real in the salon, what's going on in the salons.
Yeah,
I think that's what's really important to most customers, most clients want to know how things affect them. And like if we show people, Vogue or Cosmopolitan, they're like, oh my God, that's so a million miles from where I am.
yeah,
That wants to be more real. So by creating Beautiful Youthful, then this is a real vehicle for distributors and the product companies to actually get behind and talk to people in a real sense. So they connect with clients. Like there's a huge margin of clients we don't connect with. They kind of like, yeah, so what? They just like, they are regular clients. So they come in here every week or every month or whatever.
mm,
And we take it for granted. But actually, this is a great way of connecting with them and saying, we've got something for you. We have
yeah,
created something for you, which isn't like from Vogue and an Alexa Chung or
yeah,
Kim Kardashian. It is all about real people, and it's keeping it extremely real. I think that's, and I think over the last 10 years, my hairdressing has become increasingly more about that, on an educational sense as well. It's how to
yeah,
educate the hairdresser into applying because 90% of what we do is with those real clients. And so on my YouTube channel now, it probably should feature more of my regular clients than I do with any model works. I think it is like that ratio. 10% of work I show is probably with models and people we've worked with on a shoot or a show. But then 90% is with my regular clients, is showing how I can revamp them and change them and kind of, almost inspire them to do something new. And I think that's what all hairdressers really want, Paul, if I'm honest.
definitely. And I classed myself as like a lifestyle hairdresser. I've never really done avant-garde. I've never done um, anything really outrageous. I've always wanted to give people that lifestyle hair that they can sort of wake up and go with. And it's only really been getting into like vivid colors now. Someone asked me the other day in the salon, said, "Oh, do you do a lot of vivids?" And I was like, "Now I do." Like I didn't. Vivids weren't really my thing, and I really love giving people that hair that makes them feel. I mean, obviously, vivids make people feel great, but I just love that sort of really soft and wearable styles that can be up or down and styled different ways. And that was it when it was just like a lifestyle sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I've been in the industry a long time now. Like I'm my fourth decade, believe it or not. Like the Botox is
Wow.
working for fourth decade. But I remember like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, like in the 90s, working with another brand, and we talked a lot about lifestyles. We talked about like the haircut through the week, really. you can get like your haircut. Like I used to have a member of staff and she worked it perfectly. So I had a member of staff with long hair, and on the first day of freshly shampooed hair, the hair would be glossy and straight and beautiful, like pristine, you know. And she was blonde, it was shiny, it was glossy, super thick hair. You know, she styled it great. Day 2, it would always be curled. She would curl it, she'd restyle it that way. Day 3, she'd put it up in an updo or something like that. And then day 4 would be back to back again. So she had like a 3 bump, 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 straight, curly, updo. She would do that religiously, really. I knew where she was on a hairdressing cycle, on a hair washing cycle, by what her hair was doing that particular day.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to watch. And I think most clients the same. My wife is the same. So Lisa will have her hair down on a fresh day. She'll curl it on the second day, and then she'll put in a ponytail or something and off on the third day, you know, and kind of spray a bit of weekend hair into it and just use the product that are meant in the way they're meant to be used. So I think that's where I think I look at my clients. I get a lot of inspiration from, you know, being at home, having a wife at home who kind of wants to know what she can do with her hair and how I can manage it. And, you know, she's useless with her hair. That's the honest truth. So it's like I'm educating her all the time. So and she always says to me, you know, you don't realize what your clients, and you know, she's an inspiration because she says you don't realize what your clients in the chair thinking. So she makes me have to take it back a couple of steps and think, yeah, you're right, actually. Maybe I'm taking a lot for granted. I'm gonna have to start from a different position, less lingo, less jargon, more real stuff. And we've been doing that now for 3 months in the salon, like really paring it back, right back down to, and I think I told you last week that we have doubled our product sales as a result. It's like phenomenal, you know, like put in like, you know, we're a team of eight stylists, and we've put something like £2,000 a month extra on the business just on product sales alone, which is like amazing. That's amazing. You know, like and I think that's so valuable. But we've done it by paring it down. And I had a conversation with 2 of the team last week who were really nervous about it because they don't want to be a salesperson. They don't want to sell anything. And I said, do you feel that you're selling anything? And they said, no, don't feel we're doing anything really more different. We're just focusing on it and explaining things to clients more and giving them better education. And I was like, well, that's all you need to do. And if you've done that and the client doesn't take anything, it doesn't matter. As long as you've done your part of the bargain, you know?
Absolutely. Should we get into the British Hairdressing Awards?
Yes, go for it.
So here we go.
Yes. Oh, actually, that's the Business Awards.
Oh,
good. I like it though.
Let me.
I've got it on my phone. I can tell you who's who if you need.
Okay. Let's get rid of that.
Yeah, there's so look, 1, 2, I think 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
bring it up.
15, 16, 17, 18. There's 18 categories. I remember when it was like 8. There's now 18 categories. So it's really
international and everything now, isn't there?
Yeah. And they've even got Session Stylist of the Year, which is a new one. So it's massive. It's really big now. And like I've entered it more times than I've shortlisted. So I've been shortlisted 4 times, but I've probably entered it 10 times. So it's not a bad strike ratio, really, when you think about the hundreds and hundreds that's got in there. I love doing it. I love doing it, but man, it's expensive to do. You know, to do it. So it's great, but it's something that I've kind of realized that it can, if you market it really well, you can put some bums on seats, but not as many as if you're doing direct marketing to your customers. Is my experience. I've had better marketing experiences, and you know, the work is phenomenal. The work now that people are producing the last 5 years or so is phenomenal, right? Like if you look at it used to be that British, the nominated hairdressers by their peers, you know, who like you could tell there was hi Wendy, you could tell from their work and the regionals, but now the regional work is as good as the British work. Standard is so incredibly high. There are a few drawbacks, in my opinion. I think I'm not sure now whether it's a hairdressing competition or a photographic competition. Maybe it's a combination of the two. I
Well,
don't
I
think
know
it's
that's one of
so.
the biggest things.
Yeah,
It's all the retouching, it's all of the camera work and everything like that. If it was just raw, then it would be a lot different.
yeah. I'm like, don't get me wrong. My images have been edited,
Yeah,
usually cleaned up. Um, but I want, like, I'm quite insistent that I need minimal editing. Um, I don't know. I just like, but I just feel bad if the image is manipulated too much. I don't
yeah,
feel it's a real representation of what I'm doing. And my best ever collection hardly had any manipulation at all. It was literally down to what we did, and I was more proud of that than anything else because I knew it was all us.
yeah.
So, but you know, nevertheless, the raw images still have to be very good. You can't, I can't say the word I want to say, but you can't make something bad look great, even with the best retouching in the
No, no,
world. So the work
definitely.
still has to be very, very high class. And it's a fantastic evening. It's really good to celebrate. Yeah, there's the regions. Um, so I think first up this year is Eastern.
Yeah,
Then yeah, and they switch around every year. So and there's some big names in there. Some big names that they've changed it now so that you once you become a Hall of Famer, which means you've won your region 3 times, you couldn't enter. But what they do
yeah.
now is that a Hall of Famer can enter with a team member.
Okay.
So it opens up. So it becomes more difficult, really, because it is a formula. Um, it's a real formula to enter, um, and the photographers, makeup artists, and people, they know what the formula is. And it's really funny because the time of year when you start shooting, which is probably, they start shooting again in probably, I don't know, February, March next year. All the model prices goes up as well at that time.
I know, and
Because,
you see the same model in multiple collections, don't you?
yeah, yeah. And very often you can't cut them. It's just all about styling,
Yeah,
because if you change the model too much, then um, they can't work, or they limited the working yet, so they need to keep the image a certain way. There's a lot of wigs and pieces used now, so
yeah,
I personally never work with wigs. I think they're fantastic, and they are amazing things to do, and you can just it's pre-done. It takes a lot of stress out of what you're doing. But personally, I never work with wigs, and um, I see the place. But you're only supposed to have 2 images which have added pieces or wigs, but there's loads more than that now. I think like, and they kind of a bit more loose on the rules. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's a
I'm just
fantastic thing. So to come out of to be introduced amongst your peers, there'll be 2,500 people there tonight
yeah,
at
yeah,
the Grosvenor House Hotel in the main ballroom. It's a phenomenal venue, and everybody who's anybody's there except for me and you, obviously, because we're booked in doing this instead.
We're here. We were busy.
We were busy. So, but I said maybe next year we'll do something, around it anyway, to show people. Like we might, I don't see why we don't just shoot ourselves. Maybe shoot something
Yeah,
ourselves and do a whole recording. Like you've inspired me a lot this year to do more. But maybe we can show that side of it, things as well.
yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, with the courses we've got, which we're planning as well with Joyco and with what we're going to do and stuff like that. There's a lot, especially with online. It's limitless now.
Yeah, I think like yeah, it is limitless, and I think that what where we've been good together is that you've got such a modern take on hairdressing and on the industry, and the way in which I still think like where you're thinking is probably in the top 2 or 3% of the industry at the moment, where they're missing it. You're way ahead of the curve, like, and that's inspired me, and you're dragging me along slightly in a way, and you're taking me out of my comfort zone, with a YouTube channel, with editing, with those type of things, which I never thought I'd be able to do that.
No,
And
tell everyone what you just hit. How many subscribers?
I've just hit 500 subscribers, so 508 in the last hour.
Amazing.
So, and I've had a YouTube channel for 2 years, Paul, is it?
Yeah, since lockdown, like we both, I probably started, and I was like, mate, you need to get on it. And it's the Mindful Hairdresser, and you did one video,
Yeah,
and then that was it.
that was
and
it.
then it's just, but it
4
does
weeks
it
ago.
takes.
It was 4 weeks ago when I started, and it was only because I think maybe I don't know. I don't know whether things were available back then as they were now. I mean, I must say back then, 2 years ago, it isn't long, but the tools we got now for editing and stuff like that, which I was always scared of, and you showed me when we came down, because you came down to my salon to actually do some work with my team to inspire them, because I love the best artists in the salon to give them a different take on things. And you did that, and I came up to you and did the same for your team. It's like a reciprocal thing. And then you sat down and showed me, and I thought, oh God, I could do that. So when I looked into, I'm a lot slower than you, obviously, but I'm kind of getting better and better.
You get every time I turn YouTube on, there's a video up.
I know, yeah. So I'm putting something out. I'm trying to do a video maybe 2 or 3 times a week. That's what I'm trying to do, 2 or 3 times a week to post the video on. But and I like to do things I like to do, number one. But I'm also like, only the last 4 weeks, I think I'm in my 4th week now and I started off I remember when I started 4 weeks ago, I had 121 subscribers. And in 4 weeks, I put 400 subscribers on, really, with the work I'm doing, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's given me that it makes me think about what I'm doing in the salon more as well when the customer's in front of me. Sometimes I want to film it. Sometimes I want to just take a little short or make a reel of it or something. And I
think touching on that is a big. I think touching on that is a big thing. I think where, like we were just saying about British Hairdressing Awards, where you'll do all your efforts into this photographic piece, and you'll be thinking how we can capture that. And I think like what we're doing, it's daily. Like we're now looking at clients and oh, that's probably not smooth enough, or there's not enough volume in there, or that needs to be a little bit crisper, or something like that. Because every client is content.
Yeah. And I think that, that's one of the part of the course that's something we want to do next year. I don't know if we're allowed to say that or not, but we want to create that sort of that color, that cut, that content, and show how that translates, so that you can use it on your socials, how you can get the most out of your socials, and get your clients that are actually aligned with you and your thinking to come to you. And also using the clients you've got, like I do like a business thing as well, as you know, and like we were talking about changing the outcomes of like we've been focusing on educating our clients and getting more retail, and we have literally put about £2,000, which is, I don't know, about $3,500 extra onto our monthly turnover without seeing a single new client, without doing anything really radically different, just focusing on a little bit more. And also we do the same with marketing to our clients directly. So there's things we could do about frequency and bringing them in sooner, rather than letting them go 12 or 14 weeks, bringing them back sometimes after 4 weeks even, or under 9 weeks is the key. And if we do that with 25% of our clients, with an 8 stylist salon, I could put an extra £40,000-50,000 a year by taking them from 14 weeks to under 9 weeks, by only affecting 25%. So 1 in 4 customers coming in sooner, and I know I can make that type of difference with an 8. And if you had 3, for instance, a 3 stylist salon, you could make £25,000 difference by bringing them in more frequency. And frequency is now the enemy. It's not about anything else, but frequency, how often our clients come to see us. So and we talked about that, with Beautiful Youthful. It was part of gaining those things through the client to come into us more regularly.
Definitely, yeah.
So,
that is it.
And for me, like, somebody told me years ago when I started doing the BHA, because we this BHA evening, BHA is kind of a vanity project, really. it's kind of like where you get to express yourself and you get to really show off what you get able to do in a creative way.
Mm.
But it's a vanity project. It doesn't really put a lot of bums on seats. But real clients in your chair, that's a sanity project, because
Yeah.
that's where the profits are, that's where the money is, and that's where you kind of will build your clientele. So you could spend a lot of money on a photo shoot, and I know mine have cost me thousands over the years. And looking at those differently are not kind of where I want to be, really. I'd rather use that money with my team now, and kind of and evolve them. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, mate, 100%. I mean, I've never been interested in it, if I'm
No,
honest.
yeah, I'm surprised at that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you say, I always seen it as like you were saying, like a vanity thing. It's like just to, I don't know. I've just never been interested in it. Just never. Like I've done collections and I've done all that sort of thing, but
Yeah,
mainly for what we do, just getting a little bit creative,
yeah,
capturing it, having a look at content and stuff. And this is way back when, before I even started YouTube. But
yeah,
yeah, I just enjoyed capturing images and seeing the development of my career in a photo, I suppose. But now I get to film everything, and I'd much rather spend what, thousands of pounds on a studio setup than thousands of pounds on a photo shoot.
yeah. Because you know, the thing with the photo shoot is like you can regurgitate the images, but once
Yeah,
people have seen them several times, oh well, they wait for something new, all the time. So you're almost on
yeah,
the treadmill then, and that's a difficult thing to do. But I do think it has a massive place in our industry, because it sets a standard, sets a tone, it
definitely, yeah.
sets you apart, maybe those different things. But in my experience, it's never really put a lot of more bums on the seats, no matter how successful the shoot has been. And I don't know. The reality was, like, the best collection I ever did was a couple of years ago, and I remember being so proud of the images and like showing them to a client, and she went, "Oh, lovely."
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I could never have that. Oh, I don't. I would never do that with my hair.
but
You know.
you've got to look at it. So clients like you, like that's a prime example. A client will look at the picture and be like, "Oh right, what did she wear that sort of thing?"
She went
And
out with
what?
that.
Yeah, and why clients actually come to us? One, obviously, to see if we can cut and color their hair nice, but personality. It's that relationship, and you can't gain a relationship through showing a picture of a really nice bob, I suppose. That may be a key to where someone's like, oh, I want to go to him because I want that bob. But with how the industry is changing now,
Yeah,
we can put ourselves across in a different
yeah,
way. Because with this, I mean, the amount of clients I've had from all over the country now, just because they've seen me cut hair online, or but mainly I think a little bit of, I don't know, they just like the whole the
yeah.
personality maybe.
Like, I don't mention that. Like, so I've had a couple of people work for me who've been BHA shortlists. They've got on the BHA shortlist. I've I've helped them in a way somehow to do it.
Mm,
The thing is, they're fantastic at doing images, doing great images uh, for magazines, and creating that really great collections. But actually, they're not very good at retaining clients or that attracting new ones.
yeah,
And so even though they're really successful in that element of the business, they don't earn a great deal of money, because they feel they're too creative to be able to do that on a day-to-day. And that actually comes across to some clients, I think.
yeah,
And I've had people then who have been so disinterested, don't want anything to do with that, are incredible clients and earning phenomenal money, you know, tens of thousands of pounds a year,
mm,
doing great hairdressing and really looking after client, and just looking at images that I produce and say, yeah, nice, that's it. But
yeah,
they are more interested in earning. They don't care whether people know their name or not, because
no,
they know it's being spread by word of mouth, because clients love them.
yeah,
And there's a different things between, and that's what I mean. It's kind of like, it is like sometimes a vanity project, sometimes it's a sanity project, and you gotta weigh them up carefully. And like I remember working with a mentor who worked with me, and he asked me, why am I doing it? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I couldn't really give a good reason other than I felt that I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be up there with the big boys. I wanted to be, those type of things. And then when we examined that, that was down to my ego, really.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, man, I thought my ego is now costing me a lot of money. And that's where sanity came into it then. And I kind of thought, okay, well, it's cool. If I got the resources to do it left over, then I'm going to do it. But I'm not going to now nail myself to the mast and do it when I don't have the resources to do it, or I'm really, I'm taking a big chunk of my profits to do it, just because I want to look good, or I want to be at that event. And so, making more profit when you leave that money in your business makes me feel a lot more contented these days than taking it out and selling my soul. And I'm not selling my soul. I never sold my soul really, but that's how it felt. Sometimes you were on a treadmill then, and when people who have worked with me have gone and done it, I've always said, why are you doing it? Why do you need that? Why do you need that recognition? And it's usually a self-esteem thing, a self-worth thing. So you can go deeper and deeper, you really can. It's like peeling things back. And it's about being accepted, about being, and I think that is really interesting. And, and I think that's how you and I work well together, is because I've had so much experience in that aspects of working with people and working with good stylists and understanding probably the motivation and mentality where they come from, which is a bit old school. And you have this really new philosophy, which is like, this is how we do it. This is how we build content. And this is how we look at the content. And this is how we create a collection. And your creative process is way faster than mine. And I think maybe mine's a bit more slower, a bit more ponderous. But maybe I'll stop to think about something more. Where you push me on harder, I'll maybe make you think and pull you back a bit and say, well, okay, let's look at this way. And I think that's what our compliment is, because we have we almost in respect, we're polar opposites in many respects. But we both meet in the middle, and it becomes this creative pot. And so when we do a collection together, I've never once sat down and I don't know, I've done a haircut for a collection. I've never then, I've always said, oh, the colours you poured, you drew the colour for this. And then I've never then come back and I'm not sure about that. You've always nailed it the way I would imagine the colour to be. I don't know how that works. Because you come back and say, oh yes, just leave it with me. And then this colour comes back and said, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. I mean, well, when we have to go through the briefing and the casting, we have the chats, and we have got we work for a great brand, and we've got the colours at our disposal for beautiful hair. But I think when it comes to it, we're working bang on trend with things. And I mean, what you just put up on your YouTube channel earlier, the butterfly cut, and got thousands of views. I've just done a haircut this afternoon called the Butterfly Bob. Wolf cuts are still big. Color work that I've got coming very soon, video wise, is something really interesting. But yeah, and I just want to, when you were talking about that, where it's like the cost of I was watching a podcast earlier, and it was James Smith and Mike Thurston and the PT. And James Smith was talking that if you walked along the street and you found £20 and you picked it up, your joy level would be here. But if you were walking along and you lost 20 quid, it's miles different. You're like, oh my God, I've lost 20 quid. Whereas when you found it, it was like, oh, cheers, sort of thing. So when it comes to the BHAs, for me, I suppose it'd be a bit more like that. I think winning it, knowing that it wouldn't really bring more to my business as such, client-wise, money-wise, revenue-wise, that sort of oh my God, that's amazing sort of thing. But the loss of 10 grand for spending that on a photo shoot and models would be that's ridiculous.
That's exactly how it feels. It's just, I've never thought of it that way. But actually, you sit there and they go, the nominees are, and then your pictures up 6, there's 5 or 6 in the region. And your
Yeah.
work comes up and you go, I'm in with the shout, I'm in with the shout. And then the envelope opens and they say somebody else's name and you go, oh, that's 15 grand I'm never going to get back. It's the first thing you think of.
Yeah. And I can
Oh,
imagine.
God.
I mean,
I just
maybe
maybe
that's just,
that. Oh, well, it's a nice night. You know, like you try to justify it. But
yeah.
and at the winners are like, yeah, you have this euphoria for like probably an hour, but it's an hour, and it's
Yeah.
great. And everybody says great, and you get your picture in the journal, you get your picture, which is fantastic, and it's a really great thing. And I've always been very jealous of other people win because I've never won, but I've always enjoyed that process. But always afterwards, I think, oh God, just wasted 12 grand. Like
Yeah.
it is that, like I think now what I could do with 12 grand, for instance, and it's it's phenomenal, really. So yeah, that £20 thing is right. Exactly. Like if you lost it, you down your, if you got it, oh yeah, cool, I got 20 quid. Look, whoa. So it is a different way of looking at it. I suppose it works on that. So
I just feel like I work too hard to let that amount of money or any amount of money let it, like, disappear.
yeah,
And that's how I really feel. And like
it's a
when we're saying
gamble.
about,
It is a gamble. You're putting it on red or black. You might as well
yeah,
take 5 grand to a casino and put it on red or black. That is
yeah,
it. And then you go like, right, okay, let's spin the wheel. That's how brutal it is. And it probably got less chance because you 1 in 6 or 1 in 5 of winning. And
yeah,
everybody's so, and it's so, you might just be off, or you might be, you might do black and whites and everybody's doing color that year, or you go color and everybody else doing black and white. So, it depends where you are with it. There's so many different variables.
yeah.
And who depends on who thinks it's a trend. It's a little bit of politics involved, I believe, but I'm told it's not. But I find that hard to believe.
Mate, all these things, and that's another reason. I never really get into. I never go deep into competitions or anything like that. So no one really knows who I am as in the industry as such. I don't go that deep because I just don't want to get into that.
Which is funny because when we've gone, like I know a lot of people who are like at a really high level in the industry, probably because I've been there longer for you and I've done more of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really funny when I introduce you to them. And they all think this. I say, oh, this is Paul. He's like, this is what he does. He has a YouTube channel. He's got 90,000 subscribers. He's one of the biggest in the UK. And they kind of look at you as if like, what? But like,
yeah. Who are you?
Who are you again? And like 90,000 subscribers. And like, and when you say about the work that you're doing and now what you're putting out there, I just think there's such an appetite for what you do. I don't think anybody else. Very few people can keep up with the volume of content you're producing. Like our volume is just phenomenal, to be honest. But I love it. Like I said, I'm almost your best PR person.
Oh, I know. Yeah, when we're at these places, and you are. You're selling me to everyone, and and again, but I don't really know who these are. Like I don't really go that deep into it. It doesn't really bother me.
But it makes me laugh because like we do, and I've introduced some really big names, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to like this side of things, the social media things, they are tiny. They got no real presence, and in print they have, but in the real world they don't really have a huge presence. Other than in the industry, yours goes way beyond the industry.
Yeah,
it's industry and plus.
Yeah,
and so I love just. I'm being naughty, really, I suppose. Like I'm just pointing out that you may be great, but this guy's doing this. Have a look at this. Or have a look over here. You're focusing in this direction, and this is where it's really happening this year.
Well, that's the thing with the industry. Every PR company are pushing Instagram, and I have no idea why. No idea why.
We said this last week, right? No idea why push Instagram. So you got to be doing reels. Everything's reels now.
Yeah.
Why? What do I get for it?
How much money are you earning from reels? Like, I had a chat with a guy at an awards recently, and he was just like, I want to pick your brains about YouTube. And I said, yeah, like, mate, I'm like an open book. Whatever you want to know, I'll tell you. And it come down to it. And he said, why am I being pushed into doing reels when I'm earning zero, and you're doing YouTube that no one else can, like, no one in the industry cares about, but you're earning what you're earning?
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know anything from YouTube. I'm not that big or anything, but it's certainly something that's in my mind that I would like to get to.
Oh,
And
mate, you will. You
and it's not,
will.
it's not my sole motivation. I'm just enjoying.
No.
I just don't want to be stale and old. That's always been my biggest fear, is being irrelevant.
I
And so
think
I've always,
if you go into YouTube for money, you'll fail dramatically. You've
yeah,
got to get into it for something that you want to. Like, we're educators.
yeah,
We want to help other people, and I think that's it. YouTube's the second biggest search engine in the world,
yeah.
owned by the biggest, Google. So you've got to see it as people are going to Google how to cut hair, how to color hair, what shampoo is best for my hair, and it doesn't take you to Instagram. It doesn't take you to TikTok. It takes you to YouTube. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember how many searches there are every second, but there's a lot.
A lot,
And
yeah. Well, when you put the wolf cut out there, that was about 6 months ago, I think. You put the wolf
10 months ago now.
10 months ago. You did the first wolf cut thing, and in 24 hours, you had 1 million views.
Not 24 hours, no.
Well, it was about 24, 48 hours then.
I can't remember how many it was, but it's on like 4.5 million now.
I know, but I'm confident. Sorry, I got to drop my pen.
Okay.
I'm confident. I can vividly remember, because I pointed out once you used it. I think you messaged me. I've just got 1 million views, and I remember them calling Joyco, calling the head office, saying he's had 1 million views in, like, I think it was under 48 hours. You had 1 million views. You put it out on like a Thursday, and by Saturday it was 1 million views.
Was it? I can't remember.
It was bonkers, and like that for me was like mind blowing.
Yeah.
And it still is. I just checked my thing now. Like as I said, less than an hour ago, and like I've got 500 subscribers, and I've just had nearly 4,000 views in under an hour, and it's like a 15-second short, which is and it's been fun, and like I love to show people that stuff and show what we're about and show what I'm doing, and like I said, staying relevant, because otherwise you drift out of it, or the industry, and you become irrelevant, and nobody really takes you seriously. And I think, if as an educator, if I want to talk about this type of stuff to people, then I've got to be doing it. Yeah. And young people today who want education want to be educated in a way that they understand, and they want to be educated on a format and on a platform that means something to them.
Yeah.
So if what I taught 10 years ago is no longer relevant. So we have to move on. So, I've been an educator since I'm like 30. So it's like 25 years as an educator. And, that's been like, you've always evolving, because things change. And I'm still sought after as an educator, thankfully. But I think it's because I work hard in it. I never sit back and think I know it all. And so, I know in 2 years' time we'll be on to something else. And I think some of the people I've worked with in the past, the brands, particularly the brand managers, have said, God, you're always an early adopter. You'll see something and you'll go with it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'll try it. And I'll think, it doesn't work for me. It didn't work. I did with YouTube like 2 years ago. I got involved with it. I just didn't understand it. I didn't really get it. But I'm still kind of in the hairdressing thing. I'm still quite in my area. There's nobody in my area doing it anyway. So,
Yeah, but there's no one. There's like, if I was to look at YouTube for UK hairdressers, there's like me, James Atkinson, Ben Brown, that are hairdressers with a good number, and Ben's in like 20,000. Like, you could be in 20,000 in a year.
Yeah.
And you're there. And then you've got like the barbering side, which is Elliot Forbes. He blew up because he had a different point of view. He did ASMR with barbering. It's more ASMR, but it's still in the industry to create a point of difference that's created a incredible thing for him.
So I'm just reading down here beautifully. So the course. Do you want to talk about the course for next year? What the plan is? When we've talked about launching, when do you want to say where we launch and how we're going to do it? Do you want to?
Yeah,
Go through that? Because it's really exciting, to be honest.
it is, yeah. And we're gonna it's like Cyber Monday. So what we're gonna do for next year is we're gonna get a concrete date, which will be in January, February, one of those dates, an online course. Normally £10 we would charge to come into the webinar. So small fee as well. But we're gonna do £9.99, even smaller. And but this one we're going to do for free. And if you keep a watch on our Instagrams, but mainly on YouTube on our community tab, you'll be able to see on there, we'll put a poster to say that the webinar is launching. And there's the link. You click it, you register, and you come over. And we're going to do, well, I think it's a Sunday. And I'd like to do an all-dayer.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll do what we've done with Beautiful. It's kind of like probably 2 models and 2 techniques that were really salon focused, and something that is almost like what we've been looking at really is express services. So like minimal placements of foils, getting maximum results. Same with the haircut, like minimum sectioning, but getting the most results you can, and making it really simple. Simple shouldn't be confused with easy, but making it simple, really simple, easy to understand, no jargon, straightforward, great haircuts, great color, but done in an express way, so you can sell more to your customers and get more bang for your buck. If you're on commission, you learn more commission, you can fit more clients in, you can turn over more money, and just be a bit more smart and savvy at what we do. So that would be great, I think.
For sure.
But I think we've only got a limit of about 100 to 150 people, right?
Yeah, 100 people that will do it for. But really interactive, like Ian was just saying. Really break down, go full, get the cameras like moving, so you can see like as we're applying, as we're sectioning, as we're cutting, styling, what we're using, little tips, tricks, techniques. It'll be like as if you're there with us, because with everything that we've got now, technology wise, we can bring you every different angle and everything. So yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Cool.
Talking about that, you've got a hack.
Well, we'll have to jump into it next week if you're going to come on. I've got a meeting I've got to jump into.
Well, yeah, I can see the time. Yeah, oh God, yes, that's right. Yeah. So I'll keep the hack to next week then.
Well, if you want to, I can bring it up now. And
No, we'll keep it next week.
All right.
It's a cool hack, and I learned it a while back, and I when I talk to my clients about it, they love it. And when I tell them the way they use it, it's like amazing. So I'll talk about it next week. It's like a 2-minute thing. It'd be really cool. So
cool.
If you can send all of your 90,000 subscribers to my channel, and I can get a few more this evening, I'd be
plug it. Plug it. It's in the description. Like, you just click in the description, the Mindful Hairdresser. It's down there. Click it. Go and subscribe to Ian, and see if we can get him to 600 by Sunday. Yeah,
wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Paul, enjoy your meeting. Always a pleasure.
Thank you,
keep your eyes peeled on your phone for who's coming in the BHAs. See who's going to.
Yeah, I'm going to. See who wins. There's a few people I want to win. Obviously, Dan Spiller, Paolo, the 2 Joico guys. I want them to win. And there's a few friends as well that I've got my fingers crossed for. British hairdresser, I don't know. I'm just looking forward to seeing who takes it.
Yeah, that's always an interesting one, because I've never. Do you know what? In the last 10 years, I've never picked the winner once on British. No. Never got it right at all. Never got it right. I've always said, "Oh, I really love that. That's definitely going to win." Never does. So I don't. Yeah. I've stopped predicting.
I'll tell you who won't win. Errol.
Actually, just on that note, that's all my hairdressing industry friends now call me the Welsh Errol, because I've been done this so many times, I've never won it, so I'm the Welsh Errol.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be funny if he does win. I mean, he's been, hasn't he, nominated every single year.
21 consecutive years he's been shortlisted.
Yeah, so if he doesn't win tonight, then we'll be saying again the same next year. But yeah, amazing.
Paul,
Thank you,
always a
mate.
pleasure. Yeah,
And we'll
I'll
jump
speak to
on
you
again.
soon.
What, next week? Do you want to come on next week?
If they'll have me, I'll definitely come on.
Cool. We'll get some hacks done.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, everyone.
See you, Paul.